Yesterday, after the satsang, after the talk, when I went back to my office, Swamiji's office is next to mine. So Swamiji was sitting there. So I, like a very small child, went to him and said, Swamiji, see, this is the letter you had written, and see, you had dictated these shlokas to me. Do you remember? Swamiji's face was very blank. So I understood he doesn't remember. So I showed him, see, these are the shlokas you had dictated to me in Jamshedpur. And when I went back to Kharagpur, I wrote in nice handwriting and sent back to you. Some were wrong. So see, these are your handwritings. You have corrected them. And I was showing whatever I have shown you. So Swamiji looked at them intently. I don't know whether he remembered or not. Then he looked at me and said, how nicely you have preserved them. So I felt that actually so, I have preserved each and everything. I think for me these were the greatest treasure. Whenever I got the letters from Baba and Swamiji, I just preserved them in a small, I had one tray-like thing in that. Even now it is in that. Arvindan has given me some folders to keep them inside, and I don't get time. We'll do it. But when Swamiji said this, I was feeling, Swamiji has no habit, the nature of preserving, he doesn't have. So all the letters Baba had written to him, lost. I never found them. And after we came here, and when I became a little, I was given more and more charge. So naturally, many of the almirahs where things were there, I was slowly taking things out, sunning them, arranging them. And then I found a bunch of letters which Swamiji's letters, which Swamiji had written. And that was there, I think at some time from Dakshin Khanda. Baba had the nature. He would preserve all Swamiji's letters. And later on, when I went, I once, after Baba had shed his body, shed his body, once when we had gone there, we found that what was Baba's love for Swamiji. In a file, all the Vichar Setu copies, there used to be some special issues. And so those special issues are collected in a file. All Swamiji's letters are collected in a file. And Vichar Setu, of course, every Vichar Setu used to go to him. Actually, in that file, where the special issues of Vichar Setus were there, I found one Vichar Setu in which Swamiji had written an article, Most Respected Baba. I think that was when Baba was in his body. So seeing that, I felt like reading it. So when we came back, I wrote to Swamiji that, Swamiji, I saw that in Dakshin Khanda. We came back to Kharagpur. I wrote to Swamiji, who was in the ashram, that Swamiji, we had been to Dakshin Khanda and I found one Vichar Setu, which was 1971 January, in which you have written about Baba. So can I have a copy if it is available? Then Swamiji sent me that copy. He must have told some of the devotees who were here. So Swamiji had he doesn't, even now what he writes, he doesn't keep them properly. If anybody keeps them properly, it is the devotees who are keeping them properly. So whatever he had to do in his time when he had no help, all those gone. Only one letter of Baba I found, original letter, but a scanned copy is there. And that is in reply to Swamiji's one letter. I could join them, where Swamiji has written 4 questions to Baba. He is writing dear and respected Baba, in our Vichara Setu, I thought that I will write some questions. We can ask you some questions in whose reply you can give. So we will publish it in Vichara Setu. I don't know whether it was published or not. So Swamiji has given 4 questions and Baba has written 4 replies. And I wish I had brought it, that such telegraphic replies. And just one reply. That too, the question number 1, 1 arrow and the reply. Question number 2, 1 arrow, 1 reply. Like this, it is getting over in this much space. So when at one time I started working on Swamiji's letters, and we also, the bunch of letters, I told you that Swamiji's letters I found in one of the almiras, but those were getting faded. So we wrote to Dakshin Khanda, and we got a fresh scanned copy of all Swamiji's letters, which are there. So second bunch of letters is there. At one time I started working on them, took Swamiji's blessings that please bless me that I can do some work with them. Then Swamiji said, what do you have to spend work on this? Don't do anything with my letters. So I've left it. So this is what I want to tell. Okay, I will start with the this thing. I did not say the slokas. Swamin namaste nataloka bandho karunya sindho patitam bhavabdho mamuddharatmiya kataksha drishtya rijvyati karunya sudhabhivristya Swamin namaste, Swamin namaste, Swamin namaste, Swamin namaste. Vedanta vakyeshu sada ramanto bhikshanna matrena chatushtimantaha Vishokamantah karane charantah kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantah Vedanta vakyeshu sada ramantah bhikshanna matrena chatushtimantah Vishokamantah karane charantah kaupinavantah Khalu bhagyavantaha Moolam taroh kevalam ashrayantaha Panidvayam bhoktum amantrayantaha Kanthamiva shrimapi kutsayantaha Kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantaha Swananda bhave paritushtimantaha Sushanta sarvendriya vrittimantaha Aharnisham brahmaniye ramantaha Kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantaha Dehadibhavam parivartayantaha Svatmanamaatmanyavalokyantaha Nantam na madhyam na bahismarantaha Kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantaha Brahmaksharam pavanamuccharantaha Brahmahamasmiti vibhavayantaha Bhikshashino dikshu paribhramantaha Kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantaha Kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantaha. When we came, Swamiji used to chant this. He has chanted it very, very, very often. And I also used to chant to myself. And Swamiji in his one of these lectures also, he has chanted, I think, the first 2 slokas. Vedanta vakyeshu sada ramantaha Bhikshanna matrena chatushtimantaha Vishokamantah karane charantaha Kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantah. It is told about the knowers, the self-realized. And those days there were the sannyasis wearing the loincloth. So Vedanta Vakyeshu Sada Ramantaha. He would revel always in the thoughts of Vedanta. Vikshanna Matrena Chatushtimantaha. He would be ever pleased with whatever he gets as bhiksha. And Vishokamantah Karane Charantaha Kaupinavantah Khalu Bhagyavantaha. And his heart would be always free from sorrow. He would be always wandering about. And he was blessed indeed, the wearer of loincloth. Moolam taroh kevalam ashrayantaha. Sitting at the foot of a tree of a shelter. Panidvayam bhoktum amantrayantaha. Eating from his hands his meager portion. Kantham iva shrimapi kutsayantaha. Even if wealth and prosperity came, he had a feeling towards it as it was a torn piece of cloth. As a torn piece of cloth one will throw away. Kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantaha. Mostly Swamiji used to chant these two lines, these two slokas. Why I chanted this today? This is what a knower is, and this is what I saw in Swamiji. Vedanta Vakyeshu Sada Ramantaha. Always talking about Vedanta Vakya. That is always talking about the self, the witness, the real identity. And even if he is talking, see, those days when we came, he was talking only of what? Movements. Spiritual, social movements he was engaged in. So always it was regarding those things. And some practices which were prevalent in many of the temples, which were not good practices, he was trying to reform those practices. But very soon we understood what he speaks is spirituality itself. Nothing but spirituality, because his mind is not in his own limited self. It is always thinking of the universal self, of the society, for benefiting the society. Vikshanna matrena chatushtimantaha. This also. What? So when I found that this is what a knower is, at whose feet I have come, his mind is always, whatever he speaks, his mind doesn't go here and there and gets distracted to worldly things. I should also be like that. But I was finding that when I do activities, my mind goes here and there. Whether I have done it well, whether I have done wrong, whether somebody has said good about me or not, somebody has made a comment. So mind gets distracted. But the imbibing was, I should be like this. Always the mind should be thinking of the Brahman or God. Vikshanna matrena chatushtimantaha. Swamiji was in an ashram, a small ashram at that time. But as Swamiji says, every little particle and the blood that Swamiji has, and now he includes all of us, the renunciates, he says, every little particle and the blood in our bodies, it is only because of the bhiksha that we get. From whom? From the society, from the devotees, from the people who feel that something should be done, they should be looked after, from their offerings. We don't have anything in our name, nothing. And we are depending on providence. Swamiji says, just like he wrote, we'll share our joys and sorrows, fortunes and misfortunes. So when food will be there, we will take food. If food is not there, we will not take. Nowadays, sometimes we laugh and say, as Narayanashrama Swamiji was talking about chocolates. So some devotees feel that they should bring chocolates. Some devotees feel that they should give us a lot of fruits. And I think most of the days, otherwise, there will be a lot of dry fruits to be given every day in the Annakshetra. because some devotees are feeling. The days the devotees will feel that, oh, no need, or will not bring, that is also okay. Whatever we get, we will eat. When we first came here, it was only kanji and chamandi. So those were some days. And now it is different. But of course, I want to tell you, now we are making some good food. Every day we don't make this good food. Every day our food is very simple. But still, sometimes with fruits and dry fruits and all that, and people having brought some sweets, it becomes quite much. So, tushtimantaha. Bhikshanna matrena cha tushtimantaha. Whatever we get, that is true for every seeker. My dear children, it is true for every seeker. Whether you are in your house, in the ashram, whether you are in a job or not, you have to become triptaha, contented with whatever comes. Yadrichhalava santushtaha. Vishokamantah karane charantaha. He should move about with the heart free of sorrow. That is what Swamiji told me. Move about like a young girl of 12 years. A girl of 12 years will be, playing, laughing, jumping, not feeling burdened with many responsibilities. So he said that you have come here, be like that. You do your work. You must look after the ashram, you must look after the workers, you must run the ashram, you must see that the devotees are comfortable, but be like a girl of 12 years. Initially, I used to feel, at times I came, then Swamiji was involved in these movements and all that, but his watch was always there. Sometime of the day or at night, he will call us and start talking spiritual things, give spiritual knowledge. Simply he will start talking. But there was a time when I felt I belong nowhere. I've come away from my home. I don't feel I belong here. So one day I told that to Swamiji. Swamiji, I am feeling I belong nowhere. I have come away from my house, people, everybody, parents, relatives. And here I don't find that belonging. And that belonging, because everything was very different. At first the language, not able to talk to anybody. Children used to come, those days we had cows and we had a lot of milk. So we would make butter. We'll curdle and take out butter and the buttermilk. So big jars of buttermilk we had, and we used to give it to the villagers. The villagers would come with their cans and all that. So I like children. I'll see children, I cannot talk to them. So that was such a frustration, So just smile and be happy. So when what they talk, I cannot understand. What I want to tell them, they don't understand. So it was like that for some time. I told Swamiji that I don't feel I belong here. He must have kept it in mind. One day, I think after about 6 months or so, somebody had come and I went up to the gate to see that person off. And I was coming back from the gate. Swamiji was still standing in the veranda. That devotee had taken leave of Swamiji, but Swamiji had not gone inside. He was still standing when I came. When I came back, Swamiji was still standing there. He said, I think you are okay now. I think you are now feeling that you belong here. I said, why are you saying like this? So Swamiji said, when you were coming back from the gate, you are coming in a very natural manner. It seems I was coming like this. I was doing like this and coming from the gate. So Swamiji said, it shows such a naturalness that you are thinking something and you are doing like this and coming. I think you are okay. So, a knower, he neither himself feels that he is always contented. He will always try to impart that contentment to whoever comes near him. See to it that whoever comes near him becomes peaceful, happy, and delighted. So, bhikshanna matrena tushtimantaha. See, these slokas he used to on and off chant. And I liked them so much. I don't think that I used to feel how will I get it or not. But the very thought that one is contented, not wanting anything else. That very thought, that state used to give a lot of joy. So, after a few years, I was staying in the ashram after about 4 or 5 years in the main building itself. The main building, there was no extra room. There was a veranda at the back side. That veranda was already enclosed and made into a small enclosed space. In Kerala, generally the verandas will have grills, wooden grills, no shutter. So it was a veranda like that. It was enclosed. It was a small room like, but the roof was very low. So when I started staying there, from my cot I could touch the roof. And the roof was made of asbestos. So always Swami used to say, we have to raise the roof. This is not good for health and all that. But it was like that at that time. And the cot was just, suppose this is the grill, that opening with wooden grills. My cot was parallel to that. Just outside, with about 2 or 2.5 feet away, was the hill. That hill, actually, that is the hill. So from the hill, grass and other things will grow and come inside that opening into my room. So people who would come to my room would sometimes ask me, are you not afraid? Definitely I was afraid at times because I am a city-bred person. So anyway, but that fear was not there, thinking that Guru is there, he will look after everything. Now at one time, when Swamiji had finished renovation of the temple, he had taken a vow, some vows he had taken. Unless the temple renovation is done, will not take up any construction in the ashram. And unless that is done, Swamiji will not go to the temple by car. There is a road also, you can go by road. He said that I will walk and go. That was his vow. And we had an inside road also at that time, which we have closed off now. Our boundary and temple boundary, at one point, it is the same. And those days, there was only barbed wire. So Swamiji used to go there to get the work done. I told you, 100 people working. So he will go through the inside road. Inside road was absolutely kacha road with bushes, thorns, this, that, this much narrow. And we'll then go and reach that barbed wire. So how to go beyond that? There was a ladder. What kind of ladder? With bamboo. You can just close it like this. Maybe there was a hinge. And so if you open it, one side will be placed this way and one side this way. You have to climb this side and climb down that side. This was the ladder. So Swamiji used to go there every day. Mind you, I have also gone like this. I was not so fat. I was very thin and very brisk. So I used to take Swamiji's drink there at about 10:30 or so, some orange juice or something I used to take. Sometimes just to see the work we will go. So now, after the renovation was done, Navikaranam program was done. It was in the month of May. And Swamiji said, Gurupoornima, just before Gurupoornima, we have got about 1.5 months there. So let us now take up the renovation of this room. That is my room. There is taking it up and making the ceiling a little high and whatever. Naturally, many things had to be broken. Some slabs and beams were already made. Those have to be pushed in. So that work started. Everything was getting done. Time was very less because Gurupoornima was coming. It used to rain. So rain means work will not be possible. So it was going on anyway. Everything was more or less done. Suddenly, when everything is nearly done, I thought that, oh, I could have told Swamiji to have some shutters in this opening. So I called Swamiji, I went to Swamiji, please come. Can we not have windows here? Swamiji looked at me like this and said, what will you do with windows? So I said, why Swamiji? When rain comes, I can close it. When I feel hot, we can open it. When there is storm, we can close it. And then also these grasses, when they become big, we can close it. When I lie down, maybe I can close one portion. Swamiji just looked like this and said, you have become very non-austere. You have become non-austere. Bhikshanna matrena chatushtimantaha. I felt, why did I tell? Whatever Swamiji has done, it has done. So it would be okay. I was lying here for 5 years. I have been using this room. It will go on like this. So why the feeling came that I can do, and my Guru feels that I am non-austere. So that gave a lot of hurt in the feeling, lot of feeling of, shyness. I felt that, I felt ashamed that I have not lived up to what he wants me to be. But Swamiji is great. He told me like this. Maybe he had told just like that, not to hurt me. But next morning I found Kuttanashari being called, and all, you understand, everything has been done. To put shutters, again some things had to be broken. So Kuttanashari was called, and then ultimately shutters were made. And that time, Swamiji will try to do how you want it. So I was being called, how do you want it, what kind of glass, this, that. I was thinking, oh. But it was a lesson. Similarly, one lesson, I have told you that we did not have so much of resources earlier. So when I would be cooking in the kitchen, I would have some feeling that some more vessels could have been there. For Swamiji only I am cooking. Some more small vessels could be there. All are big vessels. He is cooking only this much. So some small vessels can be there. So one day we had gone. Swamiji only had asked us to buy certain things from a shop, vessel shop. So had gone. And whatever Swamiji had told to buy, after buying that, I saw some small vessels, and got very much attracted, think I can keep Swamiji's things in this. So I bought 2 vessels with lid. And when always whatever we buy, even now Swamiji would like to see all this. Yesterday I told you that we give the dresses to the workers. Every day whatever is bought, Swamiji would like to see them first. And what we have chosen for which person. Sometimes he will say, this is not good for this. So even if the ones who have gone and bought, they felt that it's good, they'll have to go back and return it and bring another one. So this much you can, why I'm saying, the love, the attention, and not, ignoring the work, thinking that what is there? I'm giving it to somebody. It may or may not. I'm thinking it's good, so let us give. No, it should be the correct and the perfect one. So that day when we brought things, we opened and showed, and then Swamiji said, what are these? So I said, this is for you, Swamiji. I will keep your food items in this. Then Swamiji looked at me. Were they necessary? Was it absolutely necessary? So, I think when I had done introspection, I have thought, actually Swamiji, it doesn't matter to him. But there must have been something in me by which I am getting attracted to a very nice vessel. Maybe it is for my Guru, but who is going to use it? I am only going to use it. Guru may not even know that a new vessel has been bought. I am the one who is going to use it. So it is my choice, my attraction, my liking it. I do not know whether Swamiji felt so many things. But what he said, by my own introspection, I felt that, oh, these are also very subtle desires where we fool ourselves. We fool ourselves. We feel that, oh, this is okay, but we have to get into this. Moolam taroh kevalam ashrayantah. So, sitting at the foot of a tree for shelter. This is what we have seen. Whatever, when we came here, how the ashram was, whatever facilities were there, it did not matter at all. But what the mind was thinking, Vedanta Vakya. It is always cheerful. It is always contented. Those days, our building, it used to leak a lot. And as days went by, it leaked and leaked. Anytime rain means we have to get up at night, and it was a tiled roof. So always the leak was not from the same place. So we have to put on our lights and see and go where from it is leaking. And with buckets run there. And those days Kerala was having lot of load shedding also. So many times there won't be any light and whenever there was storm and rain, the KSB will switch off actually the power supply. So it used to be a great problem actually. But never we found that it is thought of as a problem, though we are having to do this. Get up, go, take a bucket and do. I remember, now I am remembering, when this temple work was going on, one day I got up hearing some sound. So from my room I could see the veranda. So I found the veranda lights are on, the main door is open, and it was about 1 o'clock at night. What is happening? So I just got up and then I went to Swamiji's room, no Swamiji. Then I went to look into Nutun Swamiji's room, no Nutun Swamiji. And where are they? Nowhere to be seen. I went from this end to the ashram. The ashram was small at that time, so this end to that end. So I just kept sitting in my room. And then found, suddenly, through the opening, I can see, say this is the door, I can see there. Nutun Swamiji hurriedly went that side. And behind him, Swamiji hurriedly went that side. After 5 minutes, both of them, one after another, hurriedly went that side. So what is happening? So I went out. And then what is happening? Some wall was, the mason had built one wall. Not in the temple actually. This is for the Annakshetra. See, this building. The Annakshetra, the ground floor was getting made. One wall that day the mason had worked on. And when rain started, Swamiji suddenly got up, thinking whether the masons have covered it with the tarpaulin or not, because otherwise everything, all the cement will wash off. And so he opened the door, so Swamiji also got up, both of them went, and both of them understood that it has not been done. And Swamiji was quite elderly at that time, and Nutun Swamiji has a back problem. They were not able to cover it properly with the tarpaulin. So anyway, after some time, both of them returned and then said, then Swamiji was sitting on his chair and said, Nutun, I think now we want some youngsters. Because both of them were, with great difficulty, they had covered. Nutun, I think some youngsters are necessary. So like this, it will be like this. But never there was a feeling that we should move from here or do. That feeling came when our books got damaged. Because it was very humid, and at one time 300 books got damaged where we had kept them. Then Swamiji said that I think we have to do something. What we will do, how we will, and you can understand this, we don't have a flat space here, it's all hilly. So some architects were called one after another. They said that you move somewhere, we will break the building and then we will make it. Where will we move? With so many things and items, people will be constantly visiting us also. Then this architect, our Vijayanji from Ernakulam, he came and he said that Swamiji will make the building at the back of the present building. You move there, and then we'll break the front building. That is how where we are. Our residential building and this publication department, all is that back building. We moved, then the front building was broken, and in the front building, all this reception, satsang hall, library, then in the first floor, accounts office, meditation room, and Swamiji's office and my office is in the front side. It has come like that. So when I am talking about this, so many incidents are coming to my mind. So I will tell about one thing. We used to have Annavastra Dana Satra. So Annavastra Dana Satra, tons and tons of rice would come. I think that was a time when maybe we were giving to about 12 to 15,000 families we were giving. So many rice packets will be made from our ashram. Maybe we were giving to those days. Later on we were giving from our ashram alone 6,000 packets to 6,000 families. So packets were made, but since we were in a small building, there was no space to keep those packets. So everywhere, under the cots, under everywhere, and it was a tiled structure. So lots of rats were there. Even when I'll get up at night with some sound, we'll find that rats are going, big rats are going. So then I could hear Swamiji calling, Nutun? So Nutun Swamiji is calling, replying, yes, Swamiji, what has happened? I think the rats are eating, they are poking at the packets and they are eating the rice. Let us get up and see whether we can remove them. So Nutun Swamiji didn't get up or do anything. So again Nutun Swamiji is saying, Nutun, get up. Then Nutun Swamiji said, Swamiji, we are giving to 3,000 families. Let us consider we are giving to 3,100 families. These 100 families are the rat families. Oh, do you think so? Okay. Both of them slept. So, said beautiful, many such things are there. So these two slokas, I can't go on with these. Swananda bhave paritushtimantaha, satisfied fully by the bliss within him. Sushanta sarvendriya vrittimantaha. And all the senses, his mind and the senses are under his control, restrained. Aharnisham brahmani ye ramantaha. And he always rejoices in the thought of Brahman. He is always in his own ananda. How he is own ananda? Because his mind and senses are all restrained. That is why he is blissful. And he is constantly delighting and rejoicing in Brahman. Aharnisham, day and night. Day and night. My dear children, these, when you see somebody in your front living it, that gives lot of inspiration and aspiration to become like that. But for all of you who are in the household, even for us who are in the ashram, we have to give it a value. Value and constantly see whether our thoughts are also becoming like that or not. Otherwise, even in the presence of a guru, you will not be able to have the benefit of this state. Dehadi bhavam parivartayantaha swatmanamatmanyavalokyantaha. And whatever changes take place in the body, mind, intelligence, he sees the self He remains in his own anchor, witnesses the changes. He doesn't get affected by them. That is the person who is Kaupinavantaha. Pavanam Brahmaksharam Uchcharantaha. I am not taking it in a very deep manner. I am just chanting it. Pavanam Brahmaksharam Uchcharantaha. Chanting the word Brahman. And Brahmahamasmiti Vibhavayantaha. I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Constantly meditating on that. Constantly meditating on that. How can we do that? When we are doing some work with all our attention, we have to do, whether you are doing a household work or you are in a job. Sometimes we are having to do with all our attention to the work. At that time we cannot. But there is so many moments. We simply waste them. When we take bath, when we take food, when we are walking, when we are just about to sleep, when we get up in the morning, brushing our teeth, wearing our dress. Who can take away those moments from us? Why can we not think like this? But a Kaupinavantaha, a knower, a self-realized person, he is always thinking like this. Always thinking like this. So we have to understand it, know it, and wish for it. Vikshashino dikshu paribhramantaha. And he lives on alms, wanders in all directions. So wherever you go, like a sannyasi actually supposed to go everywhere. And by his going, he only purifies the places. Even the pilgrim spots gets purified by the knower's footsteps, Bhagavatam says. That is why he goes, because all people cannot come to him. So he must go. Like Swamiji was saying, yesterday he was giving reply to, and he was saying that when somebody realizes, his natural state is to express and share it. So where will he, if he chooses to remain in a place, whoever comes he shares. Then some chooses to go around and meet many other people, those who cannot come to him, and shares his knowledge. Always, what is the intention? Vasantavallokahitam charantaha. Just like the spring season, the spring wind, he likes to go and do. He wants to be the benefactor for everybody. He wishes well for everybody. He feels, when some people come, sometimes people come with lot of sorrow. Their faces will be dark, as if no light in their eyes. People come like that, and they express themselves. We have seen Swamiji telling, by the time you leave this ashram, your face should become brilliant. You should be delighted, you should smile. And it has happened so. People become delighted because they are in this atmosphere. And nobody feels that if I open up, whether he will belittle me, he will think he is a very silly person, or he doesn't know anything, or what is he? He is a sinful person. No. A knower will never feel like that. The knower will never make you feel belittled. He will always take charge. He is always ready to lift you up and give you that happiness which he has got. Tirna swayam bhima bhavarnabam jaran ahetu nanyana pitarayantaha. The worldly ocean which he also faced, and he, by knowing the self, has actually crossed it. Ahetuna anyana pitarayantaha. Ahetuna. Without any motive, without any condition, without any other reason. Ahetuna. He just helps the others to cross that ocean. Cross that ocean means what? To be in the eternal happy state, eternal blissful state. He is always ready, he is always keeping his arms stretched. Now, somebody, an online listener, has written, Ma, you please talk about Ramakrishna Dev and Sharada Ma. Actually, I am thinking about Ramakrishna Dev and Sharada Ma, Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Dev's, all the disciples, the direct disciples. My life, my sadhana has been very much influenced by them, very much. I used to read the gospel, and then I came, one book came in my front, that is Ramakrishna Lila Prasanga. That is, he has written about Sri Ramakrishna Dev's Swami Sharadananda, one of Swami Ramakrishna Dev's direct disciple, Guru Bhai of Swami Vivekananda, and Swami Sharadananda was the general secretary of the mission and mutt when Swami Vivekananda first established the mission and mutt. Swami Sharadananda has written about Ramakrishna Dev's from birth to sadhana, siddhi, his, how he mixed with the devotees, what he told. Gospel is written by M. His name is Mahendranath Gupta. He used to go to Dakshineshwar, and wherever Ramakrishna Dev used to go, visit Kolkata, in some houses he used to go. So he was a master, teacher in a school. So he also used to go. Whatever he has heard, seen, he has written, and in a manner where he is not there, as if somebody else has pictured it. No eye has come there. And at many places you will find that actually he's writing about himself only, but he has not, that ego is completely effaced. So earlier I used to read that, then I came to know about this book, then I read that, then I came to know about Mother's book. Mother's book I started reading. Then through them many other cross references, so I used to get those books and read about the direct disciples. And from that, say from Ramakrishna Dev's book, I am not going to talk about Ramakrishna Dev and Sharada Devi. There are so many books, everybody can read it. I would like to tell you that for a seeker, how important it is not only to learn the philosophy, the scriptures, understand the concepts, and understand the knowledge, how important it is to read the life stories of such sadhakas, such devotees, such jnanis. So that is why we tell, Swamiji also tells, you read my beloved Baba, read this book which Ratan Swamiji has written, The Great Association. That is the life of Swamiji, life of a knower, what he is, what he represents, what he has done. So, when I started reading Ramakrishna Dev, I understood what can be devotion. That devotion is very pure, very sublime, and we should not be afraid of God. His relationship with God, Mother Kali, how natural it was, how simple and innocent it was, how all fulfilling it was. That I came to understand. And I thought that, that should be the relationship with God. Very, very open. And understood that God will never consider you to be sinful, or you have done a mistake, or you are not praying to me, or you are not worshipping me. God doesn't need any of these. God, we belong to God, and God belongs to us. He looks after everything. This whole world is His. So all these things, it started coming as knowledge. And Ramakrishna Dev, along with the bhakti, how much of knowledge he has talked about in very simple matter, in very, very simple language, which can be understood. One thing was, Baba had written, don't become impatient. And I read in the gospel that story, I think Narada was going to, I may be a little wrong here and there, Narada was going to Vishnu Loka. So he meets one devotee. The devotee said, "Where are you going?" He says, "I am going to meet Mahavishnu." "Okay, you are going, please ask Mahavishnu when I am going to get self-realization." He said, "Okay, I'll ask." He went ahead. Another devotee also was doing some meditation, asked him, "Please ask Mahavishnu about me when I am going to get." Like that, another. So 3 people on the way had asked him. So he went to Vishnu Loka and then he was coming back. He met the first one and he said, "Did you ask me?" "Ask, yes." "What was the reply?" "Oh, Mahavishnu said that it will take you so many janmas." So this man got very, very depressed. "Oh, so many janmas. Already I am doing sadhana for so many janmas. Again so many." Acha, anyway. Those in the second man also similarly some years. He also got very depressed. Then the last one, Narada said that so many janmas. This man started clapping and laughing, dancing. "Why are you dancing?" "I gave the same reply to the others, but they were very depressed. Why is it that you are dancing?" He said, "But Mahavishnu has said that I will. After so many janmas, I will have self-realization. That is making me happy. That means I will try." He has not said that he will not get. He has said that after maybe 20 janmas he will get. So, all these things, when Baba has written, "Don't be impatient," these were giving the confirmation that Ramakrishna Dev also has said like this. And I always used to find what our Baba used to say. So he also says the same thing. So like this it happened, and mother's simplicity, unwavering faith in his Lord, who was her Lord, Ramakrishna Dev. Unquestioning surrender to efface her preferences at the Lord's feet, and her all-embracing love, forgiving everybody. Her last words were to some devotee, saying that, "Don't see anybody's fault. Dosh karo noy ma, dosh dekhbe nijer." Don't see anybody's fault. See your own fault. Consider this whole world to be yours. Then you will have peace in your mind. And this is what my Gurudev was saying. This is what Swamiji was saying. So reading them, I felt more devoted to my Guru, more confirmation to what I am hearing. And another thing was that, Baba was also at a distance. I could only write letters and get replies. With Swamiji was also that. But when we do not have that fortune of being in the physical presence, we can read the life stories. By that, what happens? We are constantly in touch. Touch with what? Touch with their surrender, touch with their one-pointedness, touch with their commitment and dedication, in touch with their constant wholesomeness and all-embracing love for everybody. You are actually, by reading about them, you are constantly reading about the good qualities which a knower has and which we should imbibe. That is why, some people make a mistake. They feel that what is there to read the life stories? But of course, you should read those life stories which are authentic and which do not have any mysticism. Which should not have any mysticism. Then the mind may go towards mysticism. Mysticism is not our path. Our path is to realize ourselves. So, by reading them, you can also imbibe this quality. At least you aspire to have those qualities. And Swami Vivekananda and his brother disciples, I started reading. So when I started reading this Swami Sharadananda's book, Then slowly, at that time I was working in Kolkata in college, and our library was a wonderful knowledge, a wonderful library. Everything on earth was there. Every section was there. So there was a spiritual section also. So I got many of these books there, which were not there. We went to Belur Math and got them. So those days were not, you write an email and you get the books online. You have to physically go there. It was very, very far away, but still we used to go. So reading them, what I understood in one sentence I can tell you, which maybe has made me become wholesome, more devoted to my Guru. I found that what supreme devotion they had for their Guru, Ramakrishna Dev. Swami Vivekananda and his brother disciples, all were young. They left their homes, they left their studies just to look after him. They did not listen to their parents. Parents would come to take back them. Then they would say that we are looking after him. Then when Ramakrishna Dev shed his body, they all stayed in utter poverty, utter difficulty. One householder devotee, all the householder devotees who were looking after Ramakrishna Dev's treatment, they had taken a house on rent, Kashipur Udyan Bhatti, and they were also all were jointly looking after the expenditure. When Ramakrishna Dev shed his body, they told these young boys, you can now go home, because they did not want to spend that money anymore. But one of them, Suresh Mitra, who got a vision in his dream, it seems, and Ramakrishna Dev saying that, will my children simply go away? So he felt, and he gave them money to rent a house, which was absolutely dilapidated, infested with snakes on the ground floor. The first floor only they used to stay, it used to break, very, very dilapidated house, and nothing to eat. So such hardships they took, and then they started going to pilgrimages and all that. I'm not coming to that. But I read all that. Out of that, what I understood is that for a seeker, having a Guru, see, their Guru had passed away. No support was there from the homes. How still they had that Guru Bhakti was my question. What is this Guru Bhakti which made them stay together? Made them take so much of hardships? They could all have gone back. And they are all coming from other houses, they are not related to each other. So I understood that there is a supreme devotion, a relationship between the Guru and Shishya, which is, once it is had, it is the supreme. And for all of them to be together, they had that supreme devotion to their Guru, and they had that supreme love for each other. You get me? Love for each other. It pains me. Many times we find, even in the ashram, in the centers, people are having differences. Why? Why should we have differences? If we love our Guru, there cannot be any differences. You cannot say, I love my Guru, I have Guru Bhakti, and you do not love Guru's children. If Guru is embracing somebody, you are not able to embrace that person, then where is your Guru Bhakti? Where is your Guru Bhakti? These should be the introspections. When I came here and I found that this is a big family, so many people come. Everybody's nature was not always soft and nice. Many would make comments. I was younger also at that time. Many mistakes I would be doing maybe. I would be commented upon, unloved also. But I felt that, even now I feel, I cannot say I am fully, absolutely achieved. I wish always that I achieve. I feel that is my watchword. Whoever my Guru can embrace, Whether that person is poor, rich, educated, uneducated, young, old, man, woman, I should be able to embrace that person. And that expands the mind. Then, even if you go somewhere beyond your guru's ashram or where your guru is, everywhere in this whole universe you will find, you will love only everybody, not only human beings, all animals, all creatures. Maybe you will be away from the snakes and frogs. You won't like a lizard to fall on you. But you cannot be bitter to them. You will feel like helping them. So when Ashok Kashyap, I met him yesterday, I was very much wanting to understand. He is working in a zoo. So I was asking, oh, how do you treat them? He says he treats the snakes, he treats the tigers and lions. It's amazing. I said, do you get joy? He says, yes, I get joy. Actually, I want to learn a little more when he comes next time. So that should make you come next time. Because otherwise you are going early in the morning, so there is no time this time. I would very much like to know. You see that we have got some cats and kittens, so sometimes our office staff do not like them, what to do. So we try to help them and keep them away from the tomcat. The tomcats come and eat away, kill the small children. So we will be all trying to protect them, give them proper place to live and all that, though they should be given only vegetarian food. So last time when we had 2 kittens, the kittens were becoming very thin, very thin. Swamiji likes them very much. I don't know whether you saw when today Swamiji was coming for the Pushpa Samarpanam, he stopped because that Anamika, one kitten, a cat, her name is Anamika. There were 3 siblings. So one was golden color. So I named it Swarna Kumar. Then one was absolutely blackish. Nuthan Swamiji named it Krishna Kali. And the third one never got any name. So one day Nuthan Swamiji said, oh, you didn't get any name, so you become Anamika. There is no name. So that siblings got killed, but Anamika remained. And Anamika now has, first set of children were killed within 2-3 days by the tomcat. The second set, she is now a very proud mother. So when Swamiji was coming, this Anamika, she was on that doormat. So Swamiji had to, he could not get onto the step, he had to turn and come. And Swamiji was showing us, see how she is sleeping. So beautiful. I know her. He is also feeling so much. You will find sometimes, so this Anamika's 2 children, they were becoming very, very thin, the earlier ones who died. Then we said that, Swamiji, I know it is not possible, but if you allow, even we can buy some cat food for them, then they will become better. So they were not eating anything. So they needed something. If they got some insects only, they were eating. Then ultimately Swamiji said, okay. So some cat feed was bought and they were eating it very well. But those should be away from our Annakshetra. So what I was saying, I forgot now. Guru Bhakti. So Guru Bhakti is what I am saying. I was telling about Ramakrishna Dev and these things, that if I have to say this, I can only say what, after reading their lives, as a seeker, one should imbibe. And it is very essential. After we came to the ashram, I would always tell Swamiji, as I am constantly telling, I am very open. So I would be telling Swamiji, I used to read this, read that. Like about Maharaj, I had told in detail to Swamiji, to the extent that Swamiji gave him a name without seeing Bhikshudev. I want to meet Bhikshudev, and went and met Bhikshudev. So like this, Swamiji could not meet all these Ramakrishna Dev and Swami Vivekananda and all the direct disciples, but he would listen to any episode or anything that I have read, and I would tell him. So it so happened, I have read those books in Bengali actually. And one of Swamiji's very close disciples was in Delhi, was working in Tata McGraw Hill. He was very spiritual. He has actually composed this 108 names for Pada Puja for Swamiji. He's no more. He passed away, and his wife sent all the spiritual books to the ashram. Oh, I was so happy. I told you that I'm a very good reader. So with 5-6 big boxes of books, those days our work was a little less, so our food was at 11 o'clock, so 11 to 2:30, 2:45, we were free. Every day I will sit with them, categorize them, and in the process read many of them. So like this it was going on. And I found that many of the books about the direct disciples, what I have read in Bengali, were also there. So I told Swamiji, the books are there in English. Then for 1 year nearly, night satsangs, Swamiji used to say, read these books. And all the books we have read about Swami Brahmananda, Swami Shivananda, Swami Sharadananda, Khandananda, every book, and many others. So I will tell you what Swamiji says about this. If any of you have not thought about this, reading the life stories, especially of these saints of Ramakrishna Mission, you must. There may be others also. So wherever you should read such books, where it will only strengthen your aspiration, your viveka, your vairagya, your dedication, your wholesomeness, such books you should read, not the mystic things. So when I was writing this, in the company of my Lord, actually I used to write. First one issue I had written, I was sick at that time, I had written, and Swamiji read it, said that it should be published in Vichar Setu. Then he said that, keep on writing. And he gave the name also, give the name of the article as in the company of my Lord. So for every month I used to write. So I'm reading. While writing these pages, very often I discuss with Swamiji what I have written. This time, after narrating this much to Swamiji, I mentioned, while reading about any great saint, Swamiji, we have always found that we not only develop Shraddha towards the saint, we also grow a great devotion towards our own Guru, experiencing a purity, elevation, and enrichment. Swamiji said, this is now Swamiji's words, yes, there are two complementary processes, reading about God's glories and reading about the devotees' life stories. The former produces exhilaration and one-pointedness, while the latter provides functional inspiration, clarity, and confidence. Whenever one reads biographies of saints or sadhakas, one should be appreciative and admiring, and not questioning and critical. You understand? Appreciative and admiring. When we simply appreciate and adore the qualities found in them, we too start acquiring those qualities naturally. Similarly, one should not compare between gurus or shishyas. Simple admiration of the noble and sublime qualities expressed through any such relationship will naturally generate sublime feelings in our heart. So it is very, very essential that we read such, about such people who has lived this path. One thing is to talk about Brahman, and one is your own experiment to tread on the path, acquiring the qualities. So I I was here and I told you Swamiji would say that you are very blameful and all that. So Swamiji used to chant some shlokas from Abhigyana Shakuntalas. So one is this. Many times he has told, Sushru Sasva Gurun Gurupriya Sakhim Vrittim Sapatni Jane Bhartur Viprakrita Piroshanataya Masma Pratipam Gamah Bhuyishtham Bhavadakshina Parijane Bhagyeshvanutsekini Yantevam Grihini Padam Yuvatayo Vamakulasya. Beautiful shloka. Why is he telling me? By that time, I have started taking up many activities, many of the responsibilities, and mostly what? Running the ashram, interacting with the workers, and many times they are not listening to me, so I am getting irritated. We'll bring them to Swamiji so that Swamiji can give them some instruction or tell them. And Swamiji feels that I am blaming them, all that. So, what is he wanting? Say me, or it can be anybody. Now all the brahmacharinis. What does he want any disciple to become? So he is taking this sloka where he is saying, serve the elders, extend to your co-wives the attitude of a close friend. Now here in the ashram, this doesn't mean co-wives and all that. But who are there? Co-disciples, co-devotees. Serve the elders. So not the elders alone, serve everybody. Everybody who comes, serve them. And extend to others the attitude of a close friend. Be friendly to everybody. Nobody, it should be open. Friendliness. Just other day somebody was saying, they have just met, I think, 2 participants. One of them is telling me, we have become very close friends. We could open ourselves to each other. How? How? This is what is necessary. You should feel approachable to each other. Tell your difficulties. Tell if somebody is in problem, you give us little advice. So this attitude of a close friend. So I understood. Anyway, I will tell the meaning first. Even if offended by your husband, do not get angry. So this husband thing is not coming. Offended by whom? Offended by others. Offended by the Guru even. Suppose Guru scolds you, do not be angry. Take it, learn from it. Towards your attendants, be adequately compassionate. This sentence, this one line Swamiji used to sing for me many times. Bhuvishtham bhavadakshina parijane bhagyeshvanuksekini. That is, towards your attendants, be adequately compassionate. So he must be seeing that I was not compassionate to them, or I was being rough to them, I was not understanding them or maybe loving them, which I was feeling I am okay. So, till I think I became all right, he was chanting this. Even now sometimes he does. Is it not, Nandita? Do not, towards your attendants be adequately compassionate. Then, do not pride over your royal fortune. So even in the ashram, we should not feel we are fortunate. Over whom? Over those who are not getting this fortune. Also you feel a little egoistic, a little possessive. That you all have not renunciated, we have renunciated. That kind of a feeling. No. Everybody is same. So how much we have to be attentive and take the qualities. What Swamiji says, For self-realization, drop your desire and expectation, drop your possessiveness, drop your ego. Ego can come. Ego can come like this. And then the last line is, this is the way by which women attain the status of mistress of their house. You know, when it is written, when Shakuntala was being sent to his husband Dushyanta's palace, Kanva Maharshi was sending her. So he was giving these instructions to her. And see how, what depth it has, that you serve your elders. You will go and meet many elders. Not only elders, serve everybody. And she would be having co-wives, other queens will be there. So have the attitude of a close friend. Be very friendly to each other. Then do not get offended if your husband scolds you. And towards your attendants, be adequately compassionate. Do not pride over your royal fortune. This is the way by which women attain the status of the mistress of their house. It is not true for only women. It's true for everybody. True for everybody. Whether you are in the house, with your family, your wife, your children, grandchildren, or in your working place, where you are having a profession. You have to be compassionate to your subordinates, colleagues, friendly to the colleagues, understand the subordinates, their problems, and do not get offended by the bosses. It is true for everybody. Yantevam grihini padam yuvatayo vamah kulasyadhaya. Those who deflect from this hallowed path are indeed diseases to the lineage. That is, those who do not follow this, they will be not very much spoken of nicely in their own lineage. So since I was, I told you about the workers and all that, I thought that I will tell you this. So now, since I told this sloka, another sloka also I remembered. But Pranati gives me all these slokas. Because of Pranati, we can immediately get the slokas. So she had forgotten to give me this. I asked for it, she forgot it. Now she gave me. This is another which Swamiji was telling. This is also from Avijnana Shakuntalam. It says, Kanva Maharshi is talking about Shakuntala. She who would not drink water while you were not given water to drink. Shakuntala used to roam about in the garden. So, to them, Kanva Maharshi is saying, she, Shakuntala, who would not drink water while you were not given water to drink. That is, without watering you, O plants, she would not drink any water. She, who out of love for you, would not wear your tender stalks, although it is a favorite decoration of hers. So, because she loved the flowers and plants, she would not pluck anything and put on her head, because she loved them so much, the flowers. Now at the time of your first blossoming, for whom it would have been a festivity, when the flowers would bloom, maybe the first flower in a tree has bloomed, it would be a festivity for Shakuntala, when she would see the flower has bloomed. That Shakuntala is now leaving for her husband's house. All of you, please grant her leave. So beautiful. That Shakuntala is now leaving for her husband's house. All of you, please grant her leave. Kanva Maharshi is telling all the plants. So Swamiji told me this because when I grew a garden and I would go and see each plant having the leaves, the buds, and then I will say, Swamiji, tomorrow this will flower. And when tomorrow the flower has bloomed, I will call Swamiji, please come and see. So Swamiji would say that it is a festivity for you. I don't know so much about plants, but I am happy to see you happy. So much delighted to see a flower bloom. So then he had taught this sloka at this time and saying that it is for you also. I find that it is like this. If watering is not done I will be very unhappy. And I will go myself and start watering. So this, that Addeva kusuma prasuti samaye yasya bhavatyutsavaha. When a flower blooms, it becomes a festivity. And you know, I would say, it was a garden, but when the flowers would bloom, I have always felt that what is the Srishti of the Creator. There is one person who sends me every day 2 photographs by WhatsApp, flowers. So, I only look at these flowers and I can only say, what a creation, how beautiful. So, even this garden, which I think it gives a lot of joy to everybody. I used to feel that there should be flowers. We didn't have flowers to offer at Swamiji's feet or even in the Samadhi Mandir. So there should be flowers here. And it should give joy to people. So that was an attitude. But at the same time, whatever flowers bloom, I feel they are blooming for the Lord's feet to be offered. And even if they are not offered, they are blooming for the Creator, the universe. So, this is the way things went. And I started understanding that all this, what Swamiji says, that will be possible only when there is self-effacement. You know, slowly the introspection became such. What is the introspection? Seeing the Guru, understanding the qualities, trying to understand what are my lacks, always aspire that the lack should go and I would become as he wants in everything. And maybe I was dwindling between success and failure. But always inspired, sadhana should go on. I don't think that I always felt that I am doing sadhana. Whole thing was that, as I told you in the very first day, Tava Priyartham. I just felt everything I should do by which Swamiji will be pleased. That was my feeling. But I had some introspections. What are those? Love everybody despite each one's nature. Love everybody despite each one's nature. Accept everybody. Forgive. See Guru in everybody. See Guru in everybody. Even when we are behaving and interacting with people, and that interaction is not pleasant, then also we should think that my Guru, if my Guru was behaving, he would not have any bitterness or any distance from this person. How we would have done, I would also do like this. Express your views, but do not insist or be obsessive. Express views. When you are in the midst of people, say in the Guru Sannidhi also, whatever my views are, I am ready, I am open, I should be open. But I should not be obsessive. I should not be insisting. I should not feel that what I feel that should be done or that should be followed. Never think you are indispensable. Never think you are indispensable. And my dear children, all these points, it is true in your household also. In order that, and in the ashram, even in your house, in order that the ambience is divine and sublime, you have to become so. You have to become sattvic, you have to become more divine, you have to become more pure and more sublime to make the atmosphere and ambience around you to be so. And lastly, self-effacement. All this will be easily done when we keep on remembering that I am nobody. There should not be any ego in me. And this is called self-effacement. Feeling that you are one of many. There is no speciality in you. There is no visheshata. Nirvishesha you are. That Baba had written, Jivan Mukti Vyavahara, that both things will be there, but you should be equanimous. I have taken 15 minutes more, but I'll take 5 minutes more. So, in one day, I wrote in my diary, I wonder what is called self-effacement. Am I growing towards self-effacement? Quite often during interactions, I aspire to dissolve my identity, my ego. But how to do it? How do I proceed? Is there any end to sadhana? My sadhana now is to completely erase myself, my I-ness. I have been a sadhika, a seeker of truth, satya sandhani. But now I have developed an ego of a sadhika. Ego that everybody calls me mother, including Swamiji. Ego that my opinions, my viewpoints regarding many aspects of the ashram is given value and importance. It's true in your household also. Is this my new ego? Is this my new ego? Wherever there is ego, there is problem and suffering. My sadhana now is to constantly reminding myself I am nobody. Reminding myself to spend every moment placing my whole being at the feet of the Guru, nothing else. Let there be resignation in everything. Let the mind be above everything. Let the I-ness be dissolved completely. May my small I-ness get merged into the whole universe in all-embracing love. This was written April 1995. And after a few days, I have written, O Pusha, that is calling Swamiji. When I looked outside through my window, I noticed 2 small hibiscus flowers, orange color, in the very small plant. They were still half bloomed. All the flowers which bloom in the garden, they bloom for your sake and shed themselves as offering at your feet. Like the flowers, may I too shed my whole being at your feet and lie there. There is no speciality. My identity is only this. Among all flowers, I am also a flower at your holy feet. Let my self-effacement be more and more complete. As a drop of oil, when poured into a vessel of water, spreads into the water completely, leaving its own identity, may I also lose my separate identity and spread and become one with yours. This is the state of naturalness, spontaneity. O Pusha, may your divinity remain ablaze in me always. Okay. So, and O Pusha, in this infinite, limitless universe, may you completely dissolve my existence. May my I-ness get dissolved. Fill me with your consciousness, your light. May my sight be laden with yours. May my words and action be laden with you. May your nectarine divine touch enliven my senses, my mind and intelligence. In that enlivened existence, let there be your fragrance alone. May I become your instrument completely. Let your divinity get expressed in all my work, speech and thought. O Pusha, at times I find there is no prayer in the mind. I am immersed deeply in my own antaratma, my own self, drinking and tasting your nectarine bliss. Nityam tvaccharanaravinda yugala dhyanamrita swadinam. That is, let the days be passed, every moment be passed, Nityam, by contemplating on your holy feet, and from that meditation, all the nectar that comes, tasting that constantly. Jai Guru. Sampurnam Jagadeva Nandanavanam Sarvepi Kalpadrumaha Gangam Vari Samasta Vari Nivaha Punya Samasta Kriyaha Vacha Prakrita Samskrita Shruti Shiro Varanasi Medini Sarvavasthitirasya Vastu Vishaya Drishte Parabrahmani Sarvavasthitirasya Vastu Vishaya Drishte Parabrahmani. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.